de Janeiro.
Tear gas and more tear gas. Clouds of smoke blocks away from Rio's famed Maracanã Stadium just before the kickoff between Mexico and Italy. It had begun peacefully, with about 1,000 protesters moving towards the stadium, demanding that the government spend more money on health and education rather than sporting events. The latest in a series of demonstrations sweeping the country in recent weeks.
The objective of our protest is against the bad public management of Brazil. The spending on World Cup is absurd, while we have bad infrastructure nationwide. There is no investment in education, health and taxes are high. That's our struggle.
These protests started over 2 weeks ago in Sao Paulo, with people calling for a lowering of the bus fares, which had just been increased. But now these protests are spreading all over Brazil and into some confederations called host cities.
Demonstrators chanted, "No violence, no violence, we need to change Brazil." But with tensions rising, police opened fire. Tear gas volleys that led to more than 2 hours of running street battles, with some football fans caught up in the scuffles.
What we have is a peaceful protest being met, the same kind of violence that we see in Turkey these days. It's just an exact repetition where you take public space, you give it to private people. When people peacefully demand their rights, you get sprayed in the face.
Police say they were just enforcing a security zone around the stadium as part of FIFA regulations for all matches during the Confederations Cup. More than a dozen people were arrested. Bystanders at a nearby metro station got caught up in the chaos, with some overcome from the tear gas, and others reacting with fury.
Rio de Janeiro is living in an undeclared civil war. This is the truth. If Rio or Brazil were prepared for the World Cup or Olympics, the armed security forces would not be necessary in the streets. None of this would be necessary. They treat people like we are cows.
Protesters say they expect tens of thousands of people to take to the streets on Monday as well, not only in Rio, but other major cities like Sao Paulo. Scenes like this seemingly indicating that Brazil is now living in an era of discontent, the thick smoke of protest and conflict on the rise. Gabriel Elizondo, Aljazerra, Rio de Janeiro.
Time for sport now. Here's Robin.
Thank you so much, Stephen.